Hey there, welcome to the Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. Yes, I am live again today. For those of you who have never joined me before, yay, thanks for coming. My goal is to save you time and money by giving you the scoop on filmmaking quality and content so you can decide whether or not you want to spend time or money watching a particular film. So I love reviewing films that are brand new or right before they go into movie theaters, but I also like telling you about movies that are now brand new on streaming, like on Fandango at Home or Amazon Prime Video, that kind of thing. Well, that's the case for today's movie. The film I'm reviewing is called Armor. It is a high octane action movie by Lionsgate that now is playing exclusively, from what I can tell, on Fandango at Home. It is rated for R. I mean, it is rated R, and I'll tell you why. I'll give you some tips for parents here in just a second. It's an hour and 29 minutes, and my overall movie review mom grade is probably hovering around a C to a C minus. But let me explain why. So first, I'll give you some an overview in a nutshell, and then some tips on things I liked, things I didn't like, tips for parents, themes worth talking about, funny lines, interesting lines. And then we'll finish up, hopefully quickly, with some recommendations for other films that are sort of similar. All right, so let's dive in. In a nutshell, my husband once knew a guy who actually served time for trying to rob an armored delivery truck from a bank. Needless to say, that guy was not the smartest guy in the tool shed. And it was really interesting to talk to a criminal, a dumb one at that. I got to meet him too. Anyway, this story in the movie is about a father and a son who work as security guards for an armored truck company. On a routine trip, some bad guys, led by Sylvester Stallone, attempt to rob the truck on a bridge. The father and son defend the truck while becoming trapped in the vehicle and must come up with a plan to escape and survive. The movie was directed by Justin Routt, or maybe his name is pronounced Rout. I don't know. Sorry about that, Justin, if you're watching this review. Although the prop master, Steve Noell, admitted that Justin didn't actually do anything. Apparently, filming was kind of a mess and was cut short after only 9 days. That probably has a lot to do with the low score that I've given this movie. You can feel that something went wrong on this movie set. Writing credits go to Cory, Todd, Hughes, and Adrian Speckert. So, quick tips for parents. We see people in a group therapy session talking about their alcoholism. We see bloody, dead bodies. A lot of firearms and other weapons are used. And there's profanity and about a billion F bombs and lots of explosions and destruction. And so, for all of those reasons, not a family friendly film. Some of the themes that are illustrated well, though, are alcoholism, family, parenting, crime and the cartels, greed, and even mercy. So here's the list of things that I really liked about this film. First of all, good for Sylvester Stallone. He is 78 years old and still pumping out movies. He looks good and he adds the star power to this movie for sure. Rumor has it that he shot all of his scenes in only one day on set and was paid 3.5 million donuts. Well, not donuts, dollars, obviously. Nice paycheck, right? Other cast members include Jason Patrick, Josh Wiggins, Josh Dehawk, I'm sorry, Mihawk, Josh White, another Josh, Blake Shields, and Joel Cohen. Now, some people were surprised that both Sylvester Stallone and Jason Patrick would be in this movie. But again, maybe they liked the script. Obviously, they liked the script. They probably thought it was an easy paycheck, and they probably also thought it was going to be handled better than what it was. So that's just really unfortunate. However, there's some really good cinematography by Cal Finot or Finette. I don't know how to pronounce some of these names. And a really nice soundtrack by Yagmor Kaplan. I loved the opening song. Now, with that praise, there were some things I didn't like, obviously. First of all, the movie squeaks in just under an hour and a half. And for many viewers, that trim time is still too long. I didn't mind it so much. I kind of kept waiting for stuff to happen. I probably looked at my watch a time or two. Now, typical movies are really running about an hour and a half, 90 minutes long. And so this one didn't even make that mark, which was interesting. Very few elements of the story are believable or realistic, even. You could drive a truck, an armored one, through the plot holes in this film. But a bunch. Many have asked why a famous, successful celebrity like Sylvester Stallone would accept the script and be willing to act in the movie. Why? Well, money, my friends, easy money. At some point, movie stars need to really consider whether they want their names attached to such poor film projects as part of their legacy. And you would think Sylvester Stallone at his age would really be considering his legacy. Now, on the flip side, I do appreciate celebrities who have big names and recognize that their name can lend star power to help newbies come along, whether they're new directors or actors or crew members. And I appreciate that and I get that. And I'm not sure exactly which one of those is true for this film. I kept thinking that this missing pen that we see at the very beginning of the movie was going to be found and come in handy in some clever way in the end, but no, which made me think, why did they even keep that in? A little pen rolls at the very bottom of the armored truck. And so I thought, why would they include that unless it was significant? Maybe it was going to lead into something significant, like, one of the guys was going to stab a bad guy with the pen. I don't know. But anyway, so many threads were created at the beginning that just sort of disappeared in the end. Some humor could have made the film more self aware and more entertaining. It took itself a little bit too seriously. And then the villains in the movie are just ridiculous idiots. So, whenever I watch movies, I also write down the funny lines and the interesting lines just to show them to you, to tell them, share them with you. And you can see all of them on my written review at moviereviewmom.com. But I'm going to share some of them with you right now. But first, let me check and see if we've got some visitors in the group. Hey, we do. Let me see if there's any chats. Hey, thanks for showing up. Could be my husband. I don't know. Anyway, so some of the funny lines are spoken by Jason Patric and Sylvester Stallone. So the first one is spoken by Jason Patric, and he's talking to a guy, and he says, "You're aware I was a cop, right?" As it's bad guy versus tough guy type of machismo going on. And then Sylvester Stallone, he's the bad guy, says to Jason Patric's character, "Well, nobody's perfect, you know." Anyway, it made me snicker, whatever. And then there were a couple of interesting lines that spoke to the themes of the movie and the character motivation. And so, again, Jason Patric, who actually is really struggling with his personal life, he says, "That's the hardest part, admitting what you've become." So he's the one that's been going to therapy and trying to pull his life together, be a good example for his son and that kind of thing. And then Sylvester Stallone is kind of doing a similar thing. We don't see him going to therapy or anything like that. But he's recognizing, he wants to make easy money as an actor, but as this character. But he's also looking at what some of these other criminals are doing that he's been paired up with, and thinking, that's not the way I'm going to do things around here. And so at one point he says, "What we have is a Murphy's Law situation." You know what Murphy's Law is? So that's when if anything could go wrong, it will go wrong type of an attitude or a perspective on life. And so he sees that. He kind of reads the cards and he starts making some choices and some interesting choices that I think some people might criticize for being completely out of character. Others may go, "Oh, good for him." I don't know. If you've seen this movie, comment down below in the description and let me know what you think. So one thing I wanted to share with you is a list of 3 movies that I recommend that I think are sort of similar, but you might like these better. The first one actually is another Sylvester Stallone movie, and it's called Backtrace. And it's also kind of a similar theme where we've got the Brinks truck, the armored vehicle, and bank robbery and heist and bad guys and good guys and that whole thing. anyway, if you've seen that, you might enjoy that better than this one. But if you're a Sylvester Stallone fan, you may just really enjoy this movie because it's Sylvester Stallone. Come on. And then another movie that I thought of as I was thinking, would humor have made this movie better? I think humor almost always makes movies better, especially when they're trying to be so tough and serious and they're not. So I thought of the movie Masterminds. It is definitely a comedy of errors as these criminals are trying to make easy money. And anyway, it just made me think of it because there are some similar elements. And then another movie about, these armored trucks is called Takers. Again, heist, money, greed, that whole thing. So if you like that, I mean, we've had a million movies about those types of things. So those were just the top three that came to my mind. If you can think of one that you think is great, let me know. Comment down below. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me. And when you get a minute, run over, visit me on my Facebook group called Movie Review Mom. Yeah. Where we do polls and we talk about movies and celebrities and, all that stuff because we all love movies so much. And then you can also find me as Trina Boyce because that's my name, where you can learn about my books, especially when they're offered for free on Amazon, and my online courses, my travel trips, and my other shenanigans. Have a fantastic day. I hope if you watch this movie, you'll enjoy it. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now. Let's see who else is still in the room. Hey, thanks for coming. Bye.